Hey everyone, welcome to Scout's Eye with Bryan Broaddus. I'm Bobby Bell, joined as always by former Super Bowl winning NFL scout Bryan Broaddus, and today we're going to discuss Dak Prescott, how he's looked out here at training camp. There's a new offense going into place, and have those concepts worked out? How has it looked in terms of Dak commanding that offense? Bryan, your overall takeaway about how Dak Prescott has looked out here in Oxnard, California in these first several padded practices?
Yeah, I like what I've seen from Dak so far. I do. I feel like that he's become a little bit more comfortable every day with what they're asking him to do. The quick setups, getting the ball out of his hand. You know, the receivers are doing a nice job of separating. I think this offense is going to come down, Bobby, to his ability to hit receivers on the move. A lot of crossing routes, a lot of deep over routes, some vertical routes mixed in. All those things kind of are right, will be the staple of what this Cowboys offense, I think, is going to be when it comes to passing the football. So far, so good. It's going to come down, like I say, to his ability to hit those moving targets.
Yeah, deep overs, slants, crossing routes. We've seen a lot of that. Not as much of the vertical stuff. I don't know how much that's going to play a part in it. It certainly will be a factor. But if anybody's looking for this offense to take a ton more chances down the field than they did previously, I don't know how much that'll be the case. How much have you noticed in terms of differences with the offense? I think one of the things that we've been able to notice out here is, some of the motion maybe has been limited at times to what we've seen on the goal line, goal-to-go situations. I know you've pointed out several times correctly that they're using a lot more bunch formations. What's your overall take on how different the offense looks this year?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Bobby. When you talk about bunch, it's talk about the crossing routes, the mesh routes, trying to run guys through traffic. They had some plays today I was watching on the 3rd and 5 where they ran Michael Gallup across. They ran picks with the tight end coming underneath to try and throw Gilmore off, and they were able to do that, get the ball on the move to Gallup, and then he was able to turn up the field. I think you're going to see a lot of that, what we call those, again, the mesh routes, the pick routes, the rub routes, in order to create separation.
You know, it's funny. I happened to notice an old quote from Brian Schottenheimer from 2018 when he was with the Seattle Seahawks, and he said, talking about the offensive changes there in Seattle, he said, if you put a number on it, I'd say it's probably 70% of what they've done here, and then maybe 30% of ideas from Mike Solari and myself and some of the new guys. It'd be crazy to ask some of the guys to learn a completely new system. I've been working extremely hard trying to get up to speed with the way they've done things. They've had so much success here, that was easy for me to do. Sounds very similar to some of the quotes he's given us this offseason. Is it possible we may be getting played a little bit by Brian Schottenheimer and he's choosing not to reveal much?
I think he's playing us a lot, Bobby, to be honest with you. I kind of felt like the 30% that maybe he was talking about, and they had some success with the offense here before, so that's very believable on his part. The 30% screen game, deceptives, things like that, nah, man, there's a lot of difference going on with this offense.
There's been a lot of discussion about Dak Prescott's interceptions, not just from last season, but some of the ones that he's had here in training camp. We'll also see headlines like Lamar Jackson threw 4 in practice the other day. Is that something that's overblown, the discussion about the interceptions during training camp practices, when a lot of times you're maybe running the same play consecutive times, or you're running the same situation and you're limited on what you can really do to kind of confuse the defense? Do we oversell sometimes the interception issue at training camp practices? I think
the things that we need to point out, though, are there interceptions that are just really, really good plays that you got to tip your hat to the defense, or are there interceptions like potentially what could have happened the other day when he's throwing the ball on a deep over from Turpin, who had separated from a hooker. Then all of a sudden, you get Deron Bland, who comes off coverage and then has his hands on the ball. Fortunately for Dak Prescott, he dropped the ball. But those are the things you worry about. How the interceptions happen. Are they underthrown balls? Are they really good plays? Are they tip balls? Things like that. The ones that should worry you are the ones where he doesn't see a defender. Those are the ones that really, really should bother you.
Dak Prescott, of course, has vowed to reduce the interceptions. That has been a big focus for this team this offseason, a big focus of the offense, and then the thrust of a lot of the offensive changes. We'll probably have to wait to see how those offensive changes look until week 1 against the Giants. No inter-squad practices this year. It doesn't sound like Dak Prescott's going to play in the preseason, but we can't wait. And once we have the answer, we will have the Scout's Eye for you to tell you all about it. Bryan, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bobby.